Good morning. This is Fred Mitchell, Chairman of the Progressive Liberal Party, Minister for Foreign Affairs and MP for Fox Hill. Today is Friday, 1st December 2023. Fox Hill and St. Paul's congregation will say farewell to the senior pastor, Bishop J Carl Rahming of St. Paul's Church on Sunday. I'm away on assignment, but I'm there in thoughts and prayers. Well done, good and faithful servant. Welcome to Reverend George Bodie, who succeeds him at the church. December is, of course, Christmas month in earnest, and the first Sunday in Advent is the 3rd of December. Please join the community of Eastwood at the pop-up market on Eastwood Park from 12 noon to 5 p.m. on Saturday, the 2nd of December, 2023. Enjoy and be safe. Prime Minister Philip Davis has arrived in Dubai for COP28 to fight for money for the Bahamas on the climate change issue. Let's keep him in prayer. It is a tough battle since the developed countries are taking a hard line and say they won't pay. I want to revisit, though, the condemnation of a report of the journalist Neil Hartnell, who works for the Tribune. The story which he wrote 2 days ago chose to accent a throwaway line in the IMF country report, which indicated that the IMF thought that the government's deficit reduction strategy was too ambitious. Well, first of all, there's a big surprise, since the IMF has misjudged this government's ability to fight deficit and meet deficit targets before. Secondly, I provided the report in full to someone, and after reading it, they were relieved to find that the Tribune's article had misled them into believing doom and gloom. In fact, if you read the report, it is in fact praising the government's management of the economy, with the growth more dynamic than expected and unemployment down. So the report by Mr. Hartnell was the equivalent of creating a run on the bank by spreading tendentious information, which did not accurately reflect the truth. Let's say a word about deficits. Ever since Milton Keynes, the famous economist, argued that in times of recession, governments had a responsibility to use deficit spending to kickstart the economy. And Franklin Roosevelt, the U.S. president after the Depression, used that as a tool. Deficit spending is a legitimate economic tool. The issue is to keep it within limits. The PLP reduced in 2 years the debt-to-GDP ratio it met in 2021 from 105% to 81%, which it is now, and it is declining. The economy is growing, so the level of deficit spending is not out of whack. Clearly, we have to watch it, but our citizens in Harbor Island, North Eleuthera, Andros, Abaco, Grand Bahama, Acklands, New Providence are all crying for public expenditure, and government must do this and government must do that. No one wants to pay or raise taxes. So borrowing is often the solution. In the US, UK, and EU, they can simply print money in times of trial. They called it a fancy name, which they did, printed 10 years ago, printed money called quantitative easing, aka printing money. No one criticized them about it. They didn't even think about it. So the Tribune and their fake and sanctimonious journalistic dishonesty on deficit spending should take that misplaced humbug elsewhere. As for me and my house, it is forward ever, backward never, forgetting that which is past and reaching toward the mark. God bless you. God bless the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. Let's forget doom and gloom. And remember that across the country, it's all positive. PLP, all the way.
Let's get real. The goal to limit global warming to 1.5 degrees is on life support. It's true that no corner of the earth is immune to the risk of climate change. This is a hard truth for many to admit, because even the best case scenarios will mean almost unimaginable upheaval and tragedy. Or even to act on behalf of future generations in your own country. I'm asking, what is it worth to you to prevent millions of climate refugees from turning into tens of millions and then hundreds of millions? Statements without binding commitments or enforcement mechanisms have been used again and again as a way to postpone real action. But getting real means understanding that it will be self-interest that drives decision makers. I'm telling you to get smart and act quickly to address